What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to Around the World with Steven. Welcome if you're new, and if you're returning, I appreciate you. Worldies and travelers, welcome back. Today, I have a good one for you. But before I get into it, please like, share, subscribe because you are all doing phenomenal. The feedback I get is amazing. Thank you all so much. Discord. Join our Discord. It's a growing community. It's us over there outside of YouTube, sharing our opinions, our thoughts, ranting, talking about whatever is on our minds, requesting videos. Trust me, it's amazing over on Discord. Check out our Discord link. It's in the description. Join our Discord. And then request. I'm still on request, but definitely Discord has it organized. So please join our Discord. Leave your request there and I'll definitely do it. There's a lot of requests I'm getting right to. The Burning Sun cases, I will react to them so soon. I'm so excited. It's getting closer and closer. And then cases like the Inwa boarding school. I see a lot of them. I've had cases from Bangladesh. I've had cases from the Philippines. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to dive into it. I will get into them. So join our Discord, leave your request over there. Today, what do we have? We have a video requested by one of our amazing mods. Her name is Irony, and she requested this a long time ago. I never got to it. I do apologize. I deserve to be beaten. I know I deserve all the ridicule. Pile it up on me. I am sorry, Irony. I am so sorry. But I've gotten to it finally. The video says victim singing K-pop song 2NE1's I Don't Care leads to double unalivement. That is crazy. Singing a K-pop song leading to... Does this person that committed the crime hate K-pop that much? Or do they hate the group that much? Or was she singing it in his ear or her ear? Whoever did the unalivement. This is insane. I'm ready to dive into this. Please like, share, subscribe. Let's find out what happened. Because this is ridiculous.
Bada bing, bada boom.
The people outside this teenager's home, they're multiplying by the day. Day one, maybe it's 5 people. Day 2, it's double. Then it's triple. And it seems like more and more people are coming out to this little girl's house and they're screaming her name. Some of them have posters. Some of them are just stringing together these very colorful sentences filled with just the most aggressive curse words that you could possibly think of. There were even rumors that someone was going to light the house on fire.
What?
Okay, the plan is we're going to light the house on fire and it's going to force this little girl to come out and essentially face the mob. She was only 13 years old when she became one of the most hated people in the entire country of the Philippines.
What? A 13-year-old? Wait, what did she do? Dang, that is wild.
A video had gone viral of this teenager yelling at and yanking the hair of a middle-aged woman. Moments later, that middle-aged woman and her son would be murdered.
Oh yeah, she's a piece of shit. Are you serious? I hate that 13-year-old now. I hate her more than all of the Philippines. You yank an old lady's hair? Bro, somebody spank that little kid. Beat that little kid. Beat some sense into her head. Are you serious? You crazy. She wasn't taught no manners. Beat her ass. What?
As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. This case does take place in the Philippines, so we did get our researcher who actually lives there and speaks Tagalog to help us translate the sources. But as always, if anything was lost in translation or if you have more information about this case, please leave it in the comments. But there is a video of this incident that has gone viral like not just in the Philippines, but it's on Reddit. It's known somewhat internationally. So I will say there is a bit of online discourse that is pretty intense regarding the parties involved. I'm going to try to cover most of it, but it is pretty dark. So with that being said, if you've been like an original K-pop fan, you know the song I Don't Care by 2NE1.
2NE1.
Yeah, so it came out over 10 years ago, I want to say in like 2010. They've since disbanded, but this song was everywhere. I mean, it was obviously huge in South Korea, but it was one of the most popular songs in the Philippines.
Well, in one of our live streams where YouTube killed the live stream, I got introduced to 2NE1. I didn't know 2NE1 was 21. I had the epiphany while mentioning their name, and it was a whole segment on there. I reacted to what? I'm ugly. It's like, don't tell me I'm pretty. Oh, I'm ugly. Like a song like that. And it was good. It was so good. I love the visuals and everything. That live stream was popping. It was a whole lot of songs. So yeah, I found out about 2NE1. There are 4 girls, I believe. Very nice. Very nice group. Yeah. But I don't know about the I Don't Care. So I'll probably react to that. They're definitely going to take it. But yeah, I'll still react to it regardless.
According to our researcher, you could not get into a taxi, you could not go to a restaurant, a mall without this song blaring every single place you go. And it was
Really?
pop. The song is very uplifting. It's catchy. It's kind of like this I don't care song. Like, I don't care about your opinion. I don't care at all. Like, I'm doing my own thing type of song. That is the iconic chorus. And it's the type of chorus that sticks to your mind after just listening to it once. Mm-hmm. But it would be someone's last words.
Damn.
The song, not even the words I don't care, but the actual chorus of the song.
Someone was singing that.
Yes, were her last words. In the video, you see a woman about 45, 50 years old, and she's practically kneeling on the ground, screaming, begging, like pleading with this man in front of her, just let me go. Let me and my son go. This little 13-year-old girl comes up to her. This is the man's daughter, and starts slapping at her arms and hands. Even pulls her hair. And the little girl is standing there proudly over someone who is, many decades older than her. And this little girl says something along the lines of, you know who my dad is, right?
What?
So this woman, this 45-year-old woman, in one last act of defiance, looks at this little girl and sings the chorus of the song. Man, I don't care. And she would be murdered immediately afterwards, along with her son.
Wait. Are you kidding me right now? That father, I presume that shithead is her father, who is allowing her 13-year-old daughter, brat, to witness this, and not just witness it, to partake in the assault of 2 people. I don't care what they did. A kid doesn't have to be in that environment, number 1. Number 2, to partake in it is way out of bounds. How are you training your kids? Are you serious right now? It is like you see viral videos of adults acting like dogs on the street fighting, acting like pigs fighting, and then you see kids jump into it or kids around. It is not good for them to witness it, but for this piece of shithead to allow his 13-year-old daughter to partake in it is not just alarming. It shows how incompetent he is in life, in the thing called life. He is incompetent at life. This is not incompetent father or anything. He's just incompetent at life, period. And man, no, wait.
Like in the video, you see the murder take place.
Jeez.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew the drama. Like everyone at first thought it was so fascinating. It's the newest neighborhood gossip. They're all at dinners, they're at barbecues, they're doing their little neighborhood walks. Like, those two hate each other, right? What? No, they hate each other? So they would explain, well, Janelle, the dad of the family that lives on the left, he hates Sonia, that middle-aged lady that lives right next door to him. The two families, they hate each other. All of Sonia's kids that are like 25-ish, they all hate Janelle.
Janelle is the little girl's dad.
Yes.
And Sonia is the neighbor.
Middle-aged woman.
Got it.
And she's got a ton of kids that are like 20-ish, 25-ish, so older kids, right? And they hate each other. And the neighbors are like, wait, I thought everyone loves Sonia. Well, not Janelle. He even tried to run over Sonia's grandkids.
What?
In the middle of a day, Janelle was riding his motorcycle back home. And they have to use the same road to get to their homes because they're neighbors. And he sees Sonia's little granddaughter standing with her uncle on the side of the road. Apparently, this is the neighborhood gossip, he starts stepping harder on the gas pedal. He's picking up speed. He's going way past the speed limit for a neighborhood like residential zone. He has no intention of slowing down. He zooms right past this little girl, less than a foot away from her. If she had reached out her hand, if she had even leaned a little towards the road, she would have been hit by the motorcycle.
Oh my goodness.
He was driving so fast, she actually ended up falling back from the shock and impact of like the wind. So it sounds like they all really, really hate each other, but the neighbors are confused. Why? So for a little while, it didn't make any sense, but eventually it would go to court.
Dang.
Apparently, everything had been fine until Janelle decided to buy a piece of land from Sonia. It was a lot. It was probably like 3 or 4 months of his salary. And Sonia warned him, okay, yes, this is a really good investment. As a realtor, I can tell you that. I think this plot of land is good, but it's going to be a bit complicated. So the way that it's set up is this is a giant piece of land owned by one owner. Mm-hmm. He's going to sell off little pieces of the land, but he's not going to give everyone their deeds until the whole plot of land is paid for. Mm-hmm. So now if you buy it right now, this little plot A, we have to wait for all the other plots to not only sell, but for those buyers to pay in full. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. But a year later, he's like, where's my deed? And that's how this neighborhood feud started. And so everyone's like, oh, wow, that doesn't make sense. So he sued her and took her to court, and then what? She ripped him off? Is that what really happened? Like, what's going on? He takes her to court for embezzlement. He says that it doesn't matter what she said. She did this to embezzle money out of me. I don't think that I'm ever going to get a deed. Even if she had told me it would take a while, it shouldn't take a year. Sonia, meanwhile, is arguing, I have no reason to do anything like that. My reputation in the industry is worth so much more than this. Everyone loved Sonia for being patient and friendly. She used to be a teacher before she transitioned into real estate, and she was just like this really nice mother, this really kind grandmother. She had no reason to want to trash her whole family's reputation and her career for a quick scam. She argued, I did everything by the books. There was even a representative from the government to witness the whole transaction. But no, Janelle went around screaming about some scam. And in the end, Sonia, because it's so like, in Korean we have this saying, it's like, 더럽고 치사해서. It's like so dirty. And so I feel so dirty on the receiving end of these accusations that are completely baseless.
Yeah.
She's like, I feel so dirty. I'm just going to give you your money back. Like, just get away. Like, you think I wronged you when I obviously didn't. So just take the money. I don't even care.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what she does. She's like, okay, the transaction is null and void. Take your money and leave. But Janelle is still not satisfied.
What?
He actually tries to sue her for embezzlement once more. And the whole neighborhood is just confused. Like, okay, wait, he got his money back. But if he's still suing, maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe.
No, I think Janelle is out of place. Like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Okay, fine. The transaction, when you gave her the money, whatever, to for the land, she clearly stated that there has to be pieces of land sold before everybody got their money back. I mean, whatever it is, she told you the risks that were involved. She made it clear to you. She didn't just hide it. It's not something she sprung on you like a surprise. No, she absolutely told you that. And apparently, what she said was there was a government official that officiated the whole transaction. So it's not just on Sonia. Of course, she was the one in charge. But if the government official was witness to that, I mean, you would think that you would go to the government official, hey, whatever transaction we did, I feel cheated. I feel scammed. You have the right to your feeling. I get it. But can we look into this? Can we find an alternative? You send her to court once. She says it's fine. Get your money. And you're still not satisfied? What? You want to what do you want? Mr. Janelle? Dang.
He is right, because why would he sue if he's not right? Right? But everybody loves Sonia. She's always had a spectacular reputation, and she gave him a refund, so maybe she's not in the wrong and he's just a sue-happy weirdo. So like I said, in the beginning, very entertaining neighborly gossip. But once the passive aggressiveness between the two neighbors ran so high that even their own children were impacted, or the neighbors would feel this like unspoken tension whenever they walked past the two houses, now it was getting just way too much for everyone to handle. Anytime that you took a neighborhood walk, if you saw Janelle, if you saw Sonia or her son Frank, Sonia's son Frank is 25 years old. He's very close with his mom, and by default, he very much hates Janelle, and vice versa. Now, it's customary that these neighbors on their walk, they would duck their head and just walk past as fast as possible. It's just so awkward and uncomfortable, you know? That was most days. But there were a few incidents where they would have to step in and try to diffuse situations, like when things would get heated between the two families. One time it happened because Janelle's daughter, let's call her Ellie.
Is this the 13-year-old?
Yeah, so her real name is out there. I'm not going to use it. We'll call her Ellie.
I'll look for it.
She was playing with Sonia's grandkids. And the kids, you know, they're teasing Ellie. It wasn't the nicest thing to do, but I don't think they were physical. I don't think they were, like, viciously, verbally bullying this girl. I think that they were learning. Like, I really am never that person that says, oh, they're kids, right? Because I don't believe in that. But I think it was a genuine instance of they're kids and they're learning how to tease each other. They're learning boundaries. It's an experimental phase. And I do think that they were kind of teasing Ellie without this vicious, malicious intent to hurt her. But Janelle sees this and he gets angry. Makes sense, okay? I'm sure a lot of parents would feel that way. He could have just walked over to these tiny little children and explained, like, hey, this is not something you do when you hang out with people, especially not with my daughter. Like, I'm not going to be okay with it. You got it?
How old are...
Like 10.
Oh.
7, 8, you know? They're young.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, he stomps out the front porch, a face red with anger, and he's screaming, why are you bullying my daughter? Behave yourself or I will show you how demonic I can be.
You said that to kids? Janelle is out of bounds. Janelle is one very, very emotionally sensitive and less logical guy. He doesn't use this properly. He does not. He is that guy that runs purely on emotions and, oh, you hurt my feelings. I'll show you how demonic I am. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Those are kids. They're 10 years old. 10 years. Are you serious right now? And you're acting all tough and all like macho in front of them with your double, triple chin and big. Like, are you serious right now?
Sonia was so angered by the whole thing. And she's not saying, no, my kids can never do wrong. My kids didn't do that. My kids are angels. That's not what she's saying. She's saying that's not how adults speak to children.
Exactly.
That's unacceptable. And it's well known and crystal clear that Janelle hates me and my whole family, like Sonia and her whole family, almost ran over one of the kids, and he lives in such close proximity. Sonia feels like she has to stand her ground so that her kids can feel safe in this neighborhood. Mm-hmm. She files a formal complaint, and since then, we have reached a territory of no going back. I think a lot of interpersonal relationships are like this, and I mean, what do I know? I feel like I'm learning things every day, right? But I feel like there's always a point of no return. And it's not even just, oh, you know what? This person is so toxic, there's no point of return. I think there's always a spot where both parties have gone so far, neither one can turn around. There's no U-turn anymore. It's almost become part of like your life, your character, your whole life story is like, oh, this is my nemesis. It's almost like a thing, you know? And now...
Fine. You don't have to like your neighbor. You don't have to like anybody. You don't have to like me. I don't have to like you. I don't have to like anybody. But for the sake of kids, for the sake of coexisting, for the sake of peace, just avoid me and I avoid you and that's it. You driving a motorcycle to like attempted to hit a kid or so, like Janelle is not fully matured. I don't care. Like it looks like he's not fully matured. He's a guy in this situation. You would think that he would take the logical stance, but he is so emotionally charged and like a kid almost. I mean, how would you let a 13-year-old daughter be embroiled or partake in assault? How? If you're not stupid, how did this guy produce enough sperm to impregnate a woman? I mean, that is crazy.
Even going back or de-escalating the situation, it feels like you're losing. It's like telling the other party, okay, you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. It's kind of like an ego thing more than anything now. The only problem is one of the parties involved was willing to kill to protect their ego. The week before Christmas, there was a massive boom echoing through the neighborhood. All the neighbors are like, what was that? The neighbors who heard the loud noise, they went silent. You know, their eyes are wide. They're like straining their ears to see if maybe I can hear some sort of scream or something. Some of them even went to investigate, and they heard laughter. Okay, so they're like, I see what's going on. They saw on Sonia's front lawn, her son Frank and a few other family members were just having a good time playing with a boga. I'm not Filipino and I've never heard of a boga, but our Filipino researcher was explaining it's kind of like a homemade cannon. That sounds dangerous. That sounds like a weapon. That sounds like a bomb threat or something. No, it's not. Okay, so technically they're illegal. Technically they are, but they're pretty common in the Philippines. And it's very similar to like a homemade firework, but not as scary. Okay, let me try to explain it because I feel like I'm explaining it and it sounds very serious. You take a bamboo stick or a tin can, very long one, anything that has like a long barrel shape. You take it, it's open on both sides. These are not instructions, by the way. I'm not giving you DIY guides right now. But many people will put a plastic water bottle or something on the other end. They'll spray some alcohol inside or some paint thinner. The point is to blow open the water bottle's plastic cap and create like this boom noise. So once you spray in the alcohol or the paint thinner, I think you light a small fire near, and then it lets out a big boom, right? So this is why it's illegal. It's not illegal because people were using it as weapons. Most people would have it at home and they would use it as like a pastime. They would have fun with it. It's almost like how people do fireworks at home. Technically, there's a million ways you could kill yourself with a homemade firework or an at-home fireworks show. So that's why they banned it. They're like, no, we cannot have this anymore. But the end result is not to hurt anyone. It is not a weapon. It's not pointed at people. It's pointed up into the sky. And ultimately, all you're trying to get out of this, and this is kind of important, is you're trying to make a loud boom noise. The person who makes the loudest boom noise is usually like, I won, right? Keep that in mind. Their little heads out. Okay, Sonia's kids, they're all adults at this point. They're playing with the boga. Whatever, not a big deal. And Frank is a responsible guy. Like, he's known in the neighborhood as being this very, very put together son. He's 25. He's got a wife and a newborn, but they live a few hours away. The only reason that he's even staying at his mom's house was because there was more work in this town. So he would come here during the work weeks, work his ass off. I mean, this man was known to never turn down a job. He did construction. He did honestly anything that made any sort of money. And at the end of the week, he would drive home for 1 or 2 days max. Just practically drop any and all money that he made, all the cash he earned, and drive all the way back to start the new work week. It's kind of bittersweet for Frank. I mean, on one hand, he had to be away from his child. And then on the other hand, this is the only way that his wife could stay at home and not work and just be with the kid. So he never complained. He was not one of those people that felt like, I'm doing a sacrifice for my family. He was really well loved. So that particular night, it's Sunday, and Frank is getting ready for this very long work week ahead of him. It's 5 days of just breaking his back in the brutal sun. I know I said a week before Christmas, but it's the Philippines. It's still going to be very hot. He and his family decide, let's just let loose, you know? And I mean that very lightly. They decide, this is their version of let loose. They're going to bring plastic chairs to the front lawn, sit under the shade of a big tree out front, pop open a few beers. It's not even a ton of friends. It's like cousins came over. They're just going to goof around. And it was at this moment, one of the cousins asked Frank, hey, you got a boga? Frank's like, actually, I got multiple bogas. So he brings out a few and they start having this competition of who can make the loudest bang. And Frank was up first. He loads up the boga, shakes it up, points it towards the sky, presses the button, like releases it. Nothing happens. And his cousins are all cracking up. Like, this guy thinks he's tough. This guy thinks he moves bricks. And look at him. He can't even work a boga. And it was all in good fun. So Frank is like, okay, I got to do it again. He shakes it up, shoots it up, and bang. And now, this is not like midnight. The sun is still out. And fine, yeah, I'm sure as a neighbor, it's not the most pleasant noise. But I will say my tolerance for random loud noises in the neighborhood is the highest during weekends, during the day. It's like everyone's just letting off some steam before the work week. It's not like any kids are sleeping. Nobody's, sitting there doing their homework all afternoon. But when Janelle heard that very first bang of the boga, he's at home with his wife and younger daughter, Ellie. She's about 13. He freezes. And he feels like it's personal. It's a deep-rooted anger that is seething out of his bones. He knew it was a boga. He doesn't think it's a gun. He doesn't think it's anything like that. He knew it was a boga. He knew it was Frank, Sonia's 25-year-old son, but he felt like it was a message for him.
Look, the world doesn't revolve around you, Janelle. Mr. Sensitive. The world does not revolve around you. It's a bunch of people having fun. If you have a problem, go outside, see what's going on and question them. Hey, like, what is going on? Are you trying to send me a message? No, dummy. We are having fun. You can see us having drinks and having fun under the tree. Everything is a message to you. A bird shits on your roof. And you say, oh, yeah, you see, that's a message for me. They send the bird to shit on my roof. You an idiot, man. Everything is you. And they stole my money and we went to court and they didn't even get them the money for me. And then, man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. I don't even know how you even got a woman pregnant. I don't know how you're a dad. You're too sensitive, hypersensitive.
They're telling him, oh, yeah? We're going to be loud. And what are you going to do about it? They wanted him to hear it and they wanted him to try and do something about it. And if he didn't, they were just going to completely disrespect him. So Janelle marches out of his house. He slams open the front door so hard it like bounces back towards him. And he stomps as loud as he can. And with each step, he's like building this rage. He's hyping himself up. How fucking dare they? And he spots Frank, snatches the boga right out of his hands. And Frank's like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you know this is illegal? I'm confiscating this. Frank tries to de-escalate the situation initially. Janelle, there's no need to be this angry. Please stop being so aggressive. We were just trying to have fun, but if you don't like the noise, I can stop. Janelle looks around at Frank's family and friends, and they're all staring at him like he's some sort of crazy power-tripping guy. And ultimately, that was humiliating. It's insulting. And what does a wounded ego do? A humiliated ego strikes back. Janelle leans back and punches Frank square in the face.
Oh my goodness.
And Janelle is a pretty big dude. I would say he might be pushing 200 pounds. Frank is pretty small. Now, you know how in the MMA fights, the fighters have these very intense staring matches. Their faces are inches apart from each other. They're staring into each other's eyes. I thought it was goofy. I thought it was all for like photo ops and the press conference and to get more views. But there is psychology there.
No, Stephanie, it's not just for photo ops. They're trying to kill each other and they're listening to instructions. So they come to the middle of the ring, listen to instructions with intense stare downs, like saying, man, I'm about to kill this muff. And the other one is saying, man, I'm about to kill this idiot. Like, it's not just for photo ops, Stephanie.
A lot of the MMA fighters said, I too thought it was goofy, but you actually learn a lot about your opponent just by staring into their eyes. It's an opportunity to see are they really confident? Is there even a moment where the stare down, they waver? or maybe a slight second where you can almost see like doubt or fear flash before their eyes, when you're only focused on their eyes, you can see it. You can see a person's soul. That's what they said. The first person to look away is the automatic de facto loser, the submissive one. And that's what it felt like on this front lawn. It was like an MMA stare down. Janelle punched Frank in the face, and now they're almost scary, still staring into each other's eyes, daring each other to do something.
Janelle and Frank.
Yeah. Frank's cousins are jumping up, trying to create distance between Janelle and Frank before it escalates even further. Neighbors are rushing out, hearing the commotion because, when Janelle punched Frank, people are screaming, there's chaos. And not a single person, because if you watch the video, it looks like something's going to happen. It doesn't look to me like this situation is going to naturally de-escalate on its own. But not a single person in the crowd, not a single cousin or neighbor, nobody called the cops.
Man, this guy's a piece of... Man, look at him. Look at him. You got a hold of a middle-aged woman. And a son that's not as big as you. And you're trying to show how tough you are, trying to ward somebody off. Man, you are an idiot, man. You are just an idiot. I hate this guy so much. I think, man, I hate this guy.
Nobody even said, someone call the cops, someone call the police. Because Janelle was the police.
What?
Janelle is a police officer. He's a cop.
What?
Oh my God.
He also had his police-issued gun and handcuffs on him, and he was going to make use of his power to make Sonia's son, Frank, submit to him.
Are you serious?
You are under arrest, Frank. Frank stood his ground.
Well, that's why Frank didn't strike back.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Frank stood his ground. This is all unfair. Frank is a little tipsy. Fine, that's not illegal. Okay, he's on his own private property. He's not out there drinking. He was of drinking age. And sure, using the boga was illegal, but it's a few loud bangs. Nothing, absolutely nothing warranted an arrest. Even if someone had called the cops on Frank for using a boga, they would have confiscated the bogas and given him a firm warning. That would be that. But Janelle is now physically grabbing Frank to throw him onto the ground, handcuff him, drag him to the patrol car, and arrest him. He's like, I'm going to bring you into the police station. All of Frank's family, including Sonia, his 45-year-old, 50-year-old mother, jumps in trying to defuse the situation. And Frank is shouting, you think just because you're a police officer, you can do this? I think Frank was just fed up at this point. He had seen his mom go through all of these struggles with Janelle, and this is the last straw. You can't just keep doing this, dude.
Yeah.
One of Frank's...
A police officer with such a fragile ego is this close to being a criminal. A police officer with that much of a fragile ego is crazy scary. They will unalive you for no reason and then come to your senses later. This is insane. You're a police officer, and instead of you de-escalating, you have been a catalyst of escalating this feud ever since this feud came to being. You drove and almost hit her granddaughter. You always acting a fool. You let your daughter even be part of an assault. You're a police officer. You are a police officer. You should know better. You're acting a fool.
Cousins even put his hand on Frank's mouth to try and focus on diffusing the situation. Frank's family genuinely is just in this mode of diffuse, 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 diffuse. Doesn't matter, diffuse, diffuse, diffuse. Janelle, calm down. Please just let Frank go. We can talk about this rationally. There's no need to involve the police. We'll never use the boga again. Janelle looked around and he only started pulling Frank harder. And I wonder if there's some psychology to this, because as people are pleading with him, it's almost now, it's kind of fueling his ego. Look, I have the power and I can do whatever I want. Even when people are begging with me, I'm not weak. I can still do what I want. Sonia literally throws herself on Frank's body to shield him from Janelle. And she's screaming, what are you doing? Just stop it. Get your hands off my son. This was the point of no going back. Not because of Sonia's words, but Janelle was now too far into his power trip. If he let go now, he would be submitting. He would be putting on a show for these people. He would have been bluffing. And just one glance, you could see all the neighbors had come out, and they're all watching. This would be public humiliation, which for some men is the scariest thing of their lives. Not murder or being essayed, but rather being publicly humiliated. Which, don't get me wrong, no one wants to be publicly humiliated, right? I'm sure it's very traumatic. But to him, he'd rather die. Janelle is digging his feet in the sand, figuratively, right? And he keeps pulling on Frank. Frank's sister, Tasha, rushes in and latches onto Frank. Janelle physically shoves her off to the point where she falls onto the ground. She's dizzy. And when she looks up, all the neighbors have gathered, creating almost this human circle around them. But they're all scared. They don't know what to do. I mean, what do we do? Call the police? Janelle is the police. Like, what do we do? Tasha looks at them and screams, "Take out your phones and start recording him. Record him." Janelle hears that and stares directly into Tasha's soul. He was pissed. But Tasha's like, "I'm not going to flinch." She challenged him. She squared up her shoulders, stared right back into his eyes, and says, "You don't have any right to arrest my brother." "What are you talking about?" "Yeah, I do. Of course I do." Janelle truly believed because he was a police officer, he could arrest anyone at any time for any reason. Frank starts cursing at Janelle. Janelle is clearly abusing his power, and someone needed to voice that. This family had lived in the shadow of Janelle's anger and power trip for long enough. Janelle's wife and daughter eventually made their way out, which I genuinely thought, okay, this is the moment. Janelle has, even if he doesn't care for his family, which I feel like he doesn't because of his actions, but even if he doesn't care for his family, this is an out for his ego. This is a way for him to be like, you know what? I'm a better father than I am an egotistical person. And that would, again, make him feel superior.
Yeah.
So this is an easy way for Janelle to say, you know what, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to walk away with my 13-year-old daughter. You're lucky my daughter came out.
That is a great point. That is a great out. If I had seen my family, I would have done the same. I think every rational human being would have done the same thing. Oh, you are lucky that my family came out. Oh, you are lucky that my wife's here. You are lucky. I would have smashed your head into bacon bits. Yes, you could say that, leave everything and go, and you will still be taunted as, oh my goodness, man, that dude, don't play with that dude, man. That dude is wild. That dude is this and that. But you still holding on to your ego. This guy is a piece of shit, man. He is a piece of shit.
But he doesn't. Not at all. Ellie, that little girl, pulls out her phone and holds it in front of herself like a shield, and she's recording. She starts getting closer and closer to Frank and Sonia, and Frank notices. He asks, almost in this kind of shocked, like, oyopso, ridiculous way, "Your dad's the one who's in the wrong here, but you're filming me? Unbelievable." The little girl ignores him and starts yelling at Sonia, the mom, someone who is 40 plus years her senior, starts screaming at her, shut it, just let it go." Ellie is 13. She's old enough to know what's going on, but I don't think that she was able to understand the implications of what's about to happen next. She does get a lot of hate for her role in all of this, but it's important, again, to remember this is a 13-year-old girl who is watching her dad get into a fight. She's probably scared. She probably thinks being aggressive to save her father is the right thing to do. And since her father was a policeman, and he seems like the type to brainwash everyone that, like, I'm the authority, I'm the law, I'm the person that enforces the law, and everyone against me is a criminal. It could be very likely that she thought whoever was fighting her dad was automatically the bad guy.
Yes, I don't care. Kids will be kids. Kids will always side with their family, their parents, their siblings. I get it. You, the father, shouldn't be that much of a shithead to let your kid even be close to this, to be involved in this. And that is what goes back to the point that after seeing his family come out, he should have let everything go. It would have solved everything. You doing this in front of your daughter teaches her something, that you're an unhinged asshole. Your wife's there watching, you're an unhinged asshole. You don't even care about your family. And you allow your kid to come close to this, see this, and jump into it.
But I will say it's not a good look. Ellie starts pulling Sonia's hair and slapping her hands, trying to get Sonia to let go of Frank so that her dad can take Frank to the police station. Sonia tries to very briefly reason with this little girl because just imagine how chaotic it is. And she says, you should be telling that to your dad, not us. This is our property. This is my house. Janelle does briefly try to push Ellie back towards her mom, but she doesn't move. She stands her ground and proudly says, my father is a policeman.
Shut up. Shut up. Your father is a criminal. Your father is a criminal. You stupid little girl. You should be whooped into falling asleep. And you are lucky you're not my daughter. You are lucky you didn't have a father to check you like I would have, because I would have whooped your butt so much for talking against an older person. I don't care what if I am fighting with them or not. You get your butt so whooped that you will cry yourself to sleep. Your tears will form sleeping pills to your eyes. You will sleep so fast that it would be so fast. Record-setting time fast. I'll whoop you so much. Get your ass back in and go to bed. Are you serious? That is how you train a child. Not what this asshole loser is doing right here, watching her 13-year-old child get involved in this brawl. Just to feed his ego. Just to feed his ego. I'll arrest you. And you stupid mother. Man.
Sonia looks at this little girl. There is not enough time in the world, especially not right now, to tell her that this policeman, your daddy, is not a good one. He's abusing his power. We did nothing wrong. You can't grow up just blindly following a uniform because some of them are very corrupt. How do you tell a 13-year-old girl that your dad is corrupt and is the evil one right now?
You tell her with a cane to her ass and her legs. You tell her that way. Train her the way she should grow. So, pa, pa, pa. That does it. That does. Every kid understands the language of the cane. Every kid understands that.
But what do? Ignore her? I mean, what do you do? So Sonia just sighed and tried to lessen the tension. I believe she tried to lessen the tension because Sonia's whole MO this whole time has been diffusing the situation. She hasn't been provoking anyone. She hasn't been yelling curse words. She's been trying to just get her son out of the situation as safely as possible. She says, in response to, my father is a policeman. She sings 2NE1's I Don't Care. But Janelle, he heard that tune. He turned. And maybe he saw something we didn't. I don't think it matters what he saw if there was even anything to see. But maybe he saw his ego flash right before his eyes. Maybe he saw his daughter look at him like, what now, Dad? Or maybe he just saw red. I don't know. But he looks at Sonia and screams, you son of a bitch, do you want me to end your life right here and now? Before anyone can respond, he reaches into his pocket, pulls out his gun, and fires. Sonia loses her balance, but she's still holding on to Frank. And before the first shot is even finished ringing in Frank's ears, Janelle pulls the trigger again, and this time it hits Frank square in the chest. Both Frank and his mom topple over, and they're almost laying lifeless instantly, just laying on their front lawn, not moving. But Janelle wasn't done. In front of his wife and his daughter, in a situation that even when they were alive, there was no danger to Janelle's life. Janelle takes a step forward and shoots Sonia's body again.
Murder. Murder. Can someone please throw him under the jail? Can someone please unalive this guy, please? Sentence this idiot to unalivement, please. Can someone do everybody this favor and put this idiot, this pig, this trash, this pile of human trash in the jail and send his 13-year-old daughter who he cannot raise to somebody who whoop her butt and teach her manners to raise, please, so she doesn't end up like her stupid dad?
Oh my God.
And so up until this point in the video, it's, you know, it's eerie because you hear chaos, you hear people trying to defuse, you hear neighbors, and everything just goes silent. Just silent. The neighbors, passerbys, they're like frozen in shock. Frank's family, they don't even move. They're still trying to process what just happened. Their brain hadn't caught up with their eyes. All they could see was Sonia and Frank laying on the ground, but there's no way they're dead, right?
They must be scared.
Yes. And
nobody's running away right now?
There's an eerie silence, and then the spell breaks. Everybody starts making a run for it. Janelle is no longer human. He's the devil. He's no longer reasonable. He's a killer. He's no longer a cop. He is a murderer. Who's to say that he's not just going to turn around and take out the whole neighborhood in this power struggle? So most of the neighbors are running away, but a few run against the crowd and run towards Sonia and Frank.
The families?
Yeah, to check.
Man.
They try and stop the bleeding while they called for help, but it was too late. Both Sonia and Frank were dead. The rest of Sonia's family had just witnessed their family members getting brutally killed in front of them just days before Christmas.
And guess who else saw it? That piece of shit's little shithead brat, 13-year-old girl. Also saw it. Now she's traumatized thanks to the stupid dad. Sometimes if kids were to choose the parents they would come through, I don't think any kid in their right mind would choose that piece of shit. Yeah, I don't think any kid. Your daughter is there. You pull a gun and then point it at them and shoot. Do you know what that has done to your kid? Scarred her for life. She now knows that to be able to get out of any confrontation, you need to shoot. That is what you tell your kid. And this is going to be etched in her brain forever. Way to go, Dad of the Year. You stupid piece of shit.
And once they realized that their loved ones could not be safe, they turn around to face Janelle. But he's gone. He used the chaos to escape. But you can't escape the internet. The neighbors who were recording started posting the videos online. There are several videos of the incident, so there is no doubt that Janelle killed Frank and Sonia. That's not even really debatable. The videos would go absolutely viral in the Philippines just because of how graphic, just the severity of the situation. Janelle started feeling the pressure of being one of the most hated men in the Philippines, being probably the top fugitive at the time in the Philippines. He ran on.
If just to chip this in, if any of you have the video, please put it on Discord. Put the link to the video on Discord. I want to watch it. It's just out of curiosity. Yeah.
Off right after the shooting, tries to run to his hometown, but ultimately ends up turning himself in. It's actually speculated that this guy thought if he turned himself in, the police would go easy on him because he's one of their own. Side note, sources also state that Janelle's brother worked as an officer in his hometown. So he specifically turned himself in there in hopes of getting some sort of special treatment, which didn't work. He was taken into custody, and Tarlac, the city where the crime happened, Tarlac officers came to get him. They tested his hands for gunpowder residue, which obviously tested positive. He was arrested. Now, when someone is arrested, it is pretty standard to do a background check on them. And not only was Janelle the world's worst cop, but he was a criminal. When this came out to the public, netizens were confused, furious, all of the above. Even before this crime, Janelle had an extensive criminal history, which I don't even know how he's still a police officer at this point, but he was charged with homicide just a year prior in 2019.
What the heck are you kidding? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. This piece of nothing, this piece of my piss was what? Convicted of homicide a year prior. He had unalived somebody. And how, one, is he a police guy with a service weapon, still parading the weapon, knowing that he has beef with his neighbor? Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
So, as a cop?
As a cop. Sonia and Frank were murdered in 2020. He was charged with homicide in 2019, but for the 2019 case, there wasn't enough evidence, so the case was just dismissed. 7 months later, again, this is before Sonia and Frank's case, he was charged again with homicide, but this time the case was also dismissed. There's not a ton of detail on exactly what happened both times, but we do know that he was charged with murder on 2 separate occasions before Frank and Sonia's murder.
What?
All the charges were dismissed because there wasn't enough evidence. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was no evidence or that it didn't happen. Just not enough evidence made it to the right people's hands.
Just not enough people who recorded it.
Exactly.
It didn't happen like this. It didn't happen like this because people recorded the whole confrontation. So, because it didn't happen like that, both homicides within the year were gone. And that is what I think he thought was going to happen, that he can get away with a third homicide. This guy is evil. This guy is a piece of shit. This guy needs to be he needs capital punishment, period. Jail is an understatement when it comes to this guy. Jail is a Christmas gift when it comes to this guy. He needs to be put on the electric chair or something.
Outside of Janelle's criminal record, he doesn't even have the best track record at work either. In 2014, he was briefly suspended for an entire month from the force because he refused to take a mandatory drug test, which, the only reason you refuse to take a drug test typically is because
you're doing drugs. Mm-hmm.
Like, I truly have no idea how this man was still a police officer in 2020. Janelle clearly knew the video was posted. He knew almost everyone in the Philippines knew about what he did. But he still pled not guilty. There was so much pressure on the government. The entire judicial process was sped up because of it. The court found him guilty of 2 counts of murder.
Nuezca, Janelle, you're a piece of shit. Okay, take that from me. You are shit on the ground, stepped on. That is your face. You're a piece of shit. And you are a worse, horrible dad. You should have been castrated so you didn't spread your virus of a seed to impregnate anybody, because you are sick up here. You are sick up here. I want somebody to clip this and send it to him in the Philippines. He's trash of a human being. He's human trash and a pile of garbage. He looks like he smells anyway.
Meaning he would spend anywhere between 20 to 40 years in prison, which honestly is not that long for what he did, but he will end up dead, so we'll get to it.
Thank God.
Now, I will say the next target for a lot of netizens was Ellie. People ripped apart Ellie for the video that, she's saying, my father's a policeman. I think her attitude, her demeanor throughout the video can come off a bit entitled, spoiled, maybe bratty. My dad's a cop, so you can't touch me. And a lot of netizens believe that this comment is what caused the murders. Had she not said that, maybe Sonia and Frank would not be dead.
Nope. I disagree. I think she's a brat. She hasn't received a lot of training in her life, so she thinks she can go put herself in adult situations and come off like she is litigating with somebody because a stupid patriarch father figure probably doesn't spank her, probably doesn't teach her or guide her to becoming a responsible adult. It is clear and it's showing. So that is what I think. Now, she's saying she didn't have to be there in the first place. And I don't blame her for that. I blame her father. What I blame her for is the fact that she didn't shut up and she thought it was appropriate to pick on an older person. Do I think she should be cyberbullied? No, she should not be cyberbullied. But she should be taken to a place or to someone who can train that kid. And so she can unlearn a lot of the crap, the rot in her mind. She can unlearn them and relearn how to be a kid in society. That is what she needs. She's 13. She doesn't need to be cyberbullied. Of course, I'm saying harsh things to her because that's how I feel in the moment. But I really wish she sent somewhere where she can unlearn what her doofus piece of shit father has taught her and learn how to be a good person in society and to get out of conflicts and to stop talking to adults like that.
So she was ripped apart online. Now, if I had to play devil's advocate, right? I feel like Ellie said this because in her mind, her dad is a policeman and policemen always follow the laws. She's 13. She probably doesn't know that policemen can be corrupt. If he's doing this, she probably thinks there is a good reason that she's doing this. These people are probably criminals. And she doesn't understand why Sonia isn't letting her dad do his job. And maybe even her demeanor could be explained by, when you're 13, you're scared. You try to act extra aggressive. You're like putting up this front. Also, I kind of feel bad in the sense that let's say she was under the impression that her dad was a good police officer. If you see your dad kill 2 people, clearly not in self-defense, I think that would just shatter your whole reality. I think your whole father figure would be destroyed. You would question a lot of your previous life moments, life lessons. I don't know.
There it is. It's true, Stephanie. In fact, that's what I said. He didn't just do damage to the family he unalived. He also did a lot of damage and left a lot of trauma to his daughter to deal with. He left a lot of trauma to his daughter, and that is why he wasn't fit to be a father. That is why he's not fit to even have sex with anybody to get them pregnant. He needed to grow up first, unlearn a lot of things he has learned because his brain is full of shit. And I mean it. His brain is full of shit, rat's turd, that he needed to unlearn and learn how to be a good father and de-escalate situations. Your money was paid to you. This was so highly unnecessary. Highly unnecessary.
I would like to hope that she didn't realize that her dad was in the wrong and that she was just doing what she thought in her 13-year-old mind was appropriate at the time. I will say that smacking and yanking hair is never appropriate because Sonia was not even touching her dad. Yeah, Sonia was not touching Janelle. So I don't know. Maybe she has lived the past 2 years with a lot of guilt. Maybe she hasn't. But I do hope for the sake of, I don't know, I guess her own future and how she deals with relationships with authority, I hope she learns that her dad was wrong and that's just not how it works. Now, another thing about Ellie before we move on. After the incident, a lot of Facebook pages started popping up using Ellie's pictures and names, and these pages started posting some really crazy stuff. They were basically saying, I said what I said and I meant what I said, pretending to be Ellie.
Wow.
And I think that's why a lot of the Philippines really hated Ellie, not just for the video, because I think if they just see the video, they can kind of try to somewhat reason with Ellie since she is 13. But these Facebook pages, so many of them came up, so many of them seem so realistic that people didn't even know. How do we know it's not hers? I don't believe any of them were actually Ellie's accounts, but it did further add to all the hate that Ellie got.
Yeah, I don't think they were all her accounts. I definitely do not, to be honest with you. I think there are people, the trolls on the internet, that are just creating that to send hate her way and stuff like that to bring more hate to her. Was what she did heinous? Yes. Is it right to do it that way, to bully her, to troll her like that? No, it's not. She's 13. She's 13. Let's put that at the back of our heads. And the fact that I said she should be spanked like a kid should and learn certain lessons, I stand by that. But cyberbullying, no. I mean, come on. Why as an adult create an account mimicking a 13-year-old and spewing trash to the internet just to get her more hate? Why should you do that? That's crazy.
People started commenting some really vicious things. Like, they deserve the death penalty. Even the daughter, she's got no manners.
Death penalty dapat yang pati anak niya dapat parusyahan slang manners. I agree with that. I don't understand that, but I agree with death penalty pat ayayan. It means it should be so vicious. Dapat parusyahan, meaning it should be punishable to slang manners. Yes, I don't understand that, but Anpox, I agree with you.
The daughter of the police looks bitchy and arrogant. She even looked at the mother and son in a very disrespectful manner. How could they even face their neighbors after what they've done? You should have stopped your dad and asked him to bring you home, but instead you fueled the fire even more.
Right.
Your father is a criminal and you're a spoiled little brat who knows how to speak English but doesn't know manners. Someone
That is true. That is true. And this one say sa to tu lang ikaw ang nagtulak sa daddy mo para pumate ng tao biscuit big kit kasi. Mean you think your daddy is what? Pamutere? Are you serious? No. You have to sat to toe. You have to sit down.
even wrote, honestly, you're the reason why your dad's rotting in jail. For God's sake, why did you have to get yourself involved in an altercation amongst adults?
That's what I said.
Yeah, it was brutal. The situation got so bad that Ellie had to go to therapy. A human rights group in the Philippines had to step in to remind everyone, hey, you guys know that you're cyberbullying a 13-year-old, right? Mario family, Sonia and Frank's family. And side note, Frank's wife was a few hours away when Frank died, remember? And she said that she absolutely refused to believe that Frank was dead. It just didn't make any sense. She had to physically bring herself to watch the video so that her brain could comprehend the message because her brain was not getting it. Her brain was like, everyone is just losing their minds. Everyone's lying. It's a joke, or there's a glitch in the universe and he's going to be back. He's going to be back home this weekend. And it almost took her to traumatize herself to watch that video to finally be like, okay, he's gone. He's not coming home. While the family were busy with the funeral, supporters were marching down the streets shouting for justice for Frank and Sonia. They grabbed megaphones. They demanded police reform, systematic changes. There was a little war going on in the Philippines at the time of Sonia and Frank's death. A war between the police and the citizens. So it's not like Frank and Sonia's was even a one-off case.
Like
Yeah.
the police. Okay.
And
So there was like police brutality in the Philippines around that time, huh? Because why would the police go against the citizens? That is insane.
I'm going to tell you what's going on. So being an American, we are all way too familiar with police brutality. So obviously, this is not just an issue that's in the Philippines. It's a global problem, it seems. But there are some unique circumstances to this case. In the Philippines, in 2016, President Rodrigo Duterte, he was like, I'm going to crack down on illegal drugs. That is my whole campaign. Back then,
Nigga, what is with these presidents and drugs? I get it. Drugs are bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't do them. I hate them. They're bad. They destroy societies. But it's like that is the front message of every South Korean president. Drugs. Now Philippines president. Drugs. Of course, drugs destroy societies. They do. They destroy societies. But that is not the only pressing issues. That is not the only pressing issues. People are being essay. People are being make it safe for everybody. Drugs included, but essay included, DV included, everything included. But they take drugs out and it's like, you do it, we kill you, we do this. That is insane.
and illegal abuse was really prevalent in the Philippines. Numbers are not that easy to come by, for obvious reasons. But the U.S. Congress did an international narcotics report in 2010, and they estimated that the illegal trade was bringing in between $6 to $8 billion in the Philippines per year.
Oh,
Addiction had practically touched every major city. I mean, everyone knew what was going on. So when Rodrigo ran for president, he promised to change everything. I'm just going to tell you some of the quotes that he's the most famous for because I think that's the best way to get his campaign.
Let's hear it.
I will repeat what I have said before. If you destroy my country and you destroy the young people by feeding them with drugs, you destroy the future. If you destroy the country, I will kill you. I'll dump all of you into Manila Bay and fatten the fish up. Just so we're all...
What? Bro, that is a president's speech. Bro, that is his speech. Hey, stop playing with this president, bro. He said if you he will unalive you and feed you to the fish in the Manila River, fatten them up. What?
Clear, and the context is given, he's saying that he will kill all drug dealers and dump them into the bay. He also somehow tried to reference Hitler multiple times in his campaigns, in his war on drugs campaign, which is... He was quite literally promising to kill Filipino drug addicts. Just something to remember. Addicts are not dirty criminals who sprout out.
This president is insane. No, 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 no. An addict is a person that needs help. Of course, they shouldn't be doing it in the first place. They should not. But they're doing it and they're knee deep into it. They need therapy. You put them in. No addict does that out of curiosity or anything. They're going through stuff. They did that, and then you were promising to unalive them. This president is a knucklehead.
Out of the ground to just wreak havoc and destroy communities. I mean, these are brothers, mothers, students, neighbors. I shouldn't have to say this, but drug addicts are people.
Right.
They're not the problem. They have an addiction, and that addiction is an issue, but the people themselves are not the problem, and you can't just get rid of them. So I don't understand why he thought that threatening to kill his own countrymen would win him the presidency. But the crazy thing is, it did win him the presidency.
Damn.
He did win the presidential election, and he didn't even stop there either. He kept going on about how much he hates users. And like, trust me, I'm not sitting here, guys, do drugs. But what's going on here? He would even say things like, do the lives of these criminals really matter? If I am the one facing all the grief, would 100 lives of these idiots mean anything to me?
Damn.
Rodrigo said that he would even kill his own children if they turned into drug users.
Jeez.
Side note, just to give you an idea of this man, there was another time in his presidency where the Philippines and China were fighting about who would control the South China Sea. Rodrigo's advisors told him, hey, you know what? If you're going to go up against China, it would be politically astute of you to become friendlier with the U.S. because you don't want to go up against China alone, right? It's not your war. He was supposed to meet with Obama to talk about it, but right before meeting up with Obama, Rodrigo publicly called Obama, and I quote, a son of a whore. Publicly.
What the heck?
Yeah.
For what reason?
So the reporters were like, what if Obama asks you about your human rights violations? Because even the UN is looking into you. Because, you know, you're killing a bunch of people just because you see them do a little bit of drugs. So what are you going to say to that? And he's like, I'm going to say you're a son of a
what? Mr. Rodrigo, president? Seriously? Yo.
Obama heard it. He canceled the meeting altogether, stating that he would rather, quote, engage in constructive, productive conversations. Also, the Pope visited the Philippines. He also called the Pope the son of a...
What?
Because he was causing a traffic jam.
Is he just like says whatever on his mind, kind of no filter?
I guess maybe that was his appeal. Maybe, I don't know. But I would say definitely calling the Pope a son of a is like crossing so many. I'm not even religious, but it feels like we're crossing a lot of boundaries, and it's a lot. That's very, very a lot, right?
And irony says the Philippines is a heavily Catholic country, right? So the Pope is definitely a huge figure. If the Philippines is a Catholic, predominantly Catholic country, the Pope should be a huge figure. So how did that feel? Like, what was the... Please let me know in the comments. Irony. Anybody who is Filipino, please let me know. Or Filipina, let me know in the comments what happened within that time. He called the Pope the son of a whore. You know, please let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm really, really ready to find out. Wow.
Now, the reason that people were upset and marching down the streets was because Rodrigo's attempt to end drug usage, he basically told the police force of the Philippines to go at it, have a good time, play Call of Duty on the streets. It's basically Valorant, free for all, the purge. He said, you see drugs, shoot and kill on.
Are you kidding me? Is this real right now? Filipino, anybody from the Philippines, even if you're not from the Philippines, if you heard this issue, let me know down in the comments. Like, how was the country like in that time span? Are you kidding me? Have at it, play Call of Duty with your own citizens? Holy shit.
On site. A little baggie of weed, shoot and kill on site.
No freaking way.
And ever since then, the number of drug-related police killings skyrocketed. The estimated death toll of drug-related police violence during Rodrigo's presidency is over 6,000 people.
Jeez.
But then what happens? What happens when you give people that level of power?
Right.
It's no longer about drugs anymore. Police officers got way too comfortable. It seemed like they just started killing whenever they felt like it, and then planting a little baggie of drugs.
Wow.
And nothing would be investigated, nothing would be looked into, nothing would be inappropriate. Those were their orders. Shoot to kill.
Damn.
They were caught multiple times. So there was one big case where 3 officers killed a young man, stating that he pulled a gun out on them and he had a baggie of drugs in his pocket. That turned out to be false. There was a tiny little camera in an alleyway that saw them drag him into the alleyway, shoot him dead, and then plant the stuff.
This inadvertently made the police the drug dealers. Why do I say that? They would have a lot of baggies of drugs on them. They would unalive people and then plant those drugs on them. So who is the drug dealer now? You made the police drug dealers. Congratulations, knucklehead president. You are a genius. You are such a genius. You deserve to be, your head deserves to be in a toilet. Are you serious right now? You do that and say, have at it, play Call of Duty to your own citizens, your own citizens. If I'm a police person and I have an issue with somebody and I unalive them, all I have to do is produce a baggie of weed, put it on them, sprinkle Coca-Cola on their lips. When I say Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? That is crazy. This is the most stupid, insane thing. Please let me know. Is this accurate? Like, put in the comment. I'm ready to learn. I'm so curious about this thing. This is crazy.
They were just killing in cold blood. Yeah, not that drugs are a good reason to kill someone, but you get what I'm saying. So a lot of people argued this is giving power-tripping, egotistical, evil people like Janelle the go-ahead to feel like they rule the streets, to feel like there's some sort of God above all. So yeah, people had enough. In another angering turn of events, there were rumors that Janelle had benefits while in prison. They said that his status as a former officer didn't actually put a target on his back like a lot of people were hoping. It actually made his life easier. People alleged that he was given a phone with full internet access, he got haircuts in jail, received outside food, and even got a special cell, which I'm assuming is better than a normal cell. They stated that he was living with respect and dignity while he ruined an entire family. Netizens were rightfully upset about that. The Bureau of Jail Management had to come out and say, that's not what we're doing. And for like a whole year, it was kind of an argument until November 30th, 2021, Janelle's cellmates were carrying an unconscious body into the jail hospital. Janelle was already dead when he was carried in. The cellmate stated, well, Janelle was complaining about being dizzy and being out of breath the whole day. While we were all walking back to our cell together, he collapsed and lost consciousness. We don't know what happened.
Thank God.
Initial reports state that Janelle died of a heart attack, but there are rumors, the main one being, netizens believe that Janelle was killed by other jailmates because he was being favored. And it's kind of pissing them off. And since he was killed for that, the Bureau of Jail Management would have to cover it up and just state that he died of a heart attack, because then it'd be like, now we have to explain why the jailmates or the cellmates were jealous of him.
I'm so glad that happened. I wish the second part was true. I wish he was unalived for the favors he was getting. That would even make it more sweet. I wish his head was bashed in the edge of the bed and then something like that, you know? I don't like violence, but yeah, I mean, for him, definitely. And I wish they were singing the 2NE1's song while he was yelling, please, please, I don't care. Like whatever, however that song goes, I wish they were singing it to his face. So it gives him flashbacks of what he did. I hope it was painful and gruesome and there was a lot of internal bleeding and stuff like that. I really, really wish that. And I wish the first person to hear the news was her 13-year-old daughter. Yeah, that's what I wish. But I wish the daughter is getting therapy and being a good person and unlearning whatever that shithead taught her anyway. Yep, that's how I feel.
Yeah. So there was even a brief conspiracy that Janelle wasn't actually dead. There were just photos of him taken as he was dead, and he had escaped prison with the help of all of his other police officer friends, and he was probably living off the grid or living in a different country. Now, I don't know about this one. Normally, I don't like to entertain they're not actually dead conspiracies because I feel like it could be detrimental. But I will say this one, I don't put it past these people, right?
Right.
But it does seem that he is dead.
Thank God.
The only reason I bring it up is Sonia and Frank's family briefly brought up that idea that they didn't think that he was genuinely dead. Ultimately, it does seem that the body in the morgue is Janelle's. Sonia's children have stated, it's just really hard. Everything's really hard. Sonia she was a mom. I know that sounds so cliche because, yes, so many people are moms. But she was a mom in the way that you think of a textbook mom. You would come home from work. Doesn't matter if you're her kid that's 26. Doesn't matter if you're her grandson that's 5. She would have this plate of hot steaming food waiting for you. And she would sit there at the dinner table. Doesn't matter what time. She already ate dinner. She's just watching you eat. How's your day? Tell me everything. All of Sonia's neighbors mourned her death. They said, this woman loved feeding people. They said, they're not a rich family. They're not doing well. Sometimes you could tell that Sonia didn't even have enough to eat. But if you ever walked by that house, even looking a little hungry, if you stopped by to drop off something and your stomach grumbled even a little bit, she would force you to sit down and she would make you feel stuffed.
Wow.
Even when she was hungry.
Wow.
Everyone in the neighborhood called her Mama Sonia. But even through all the pain that this family has gone through, they came out to say they forgave Janelle. They said, we hope this serves as a lesson, that helps him realize that being a police does not equate to superiority. No one is above the law. We've forgiven him. That doesn't mean that the pain isn't there. The pain is still there. We lost a mother. We lost a brother, just like that. For him, he's still alive. Well, he was. And he gets to see his family during visitations. But we don't. For us, we lost everything. But we've forgiven him. We've forgiven him because there is justice. And he will pay for it. And he will pay for it in the eyes of the Lord. So we are choosing to let go of that anger. But of course, we still condemn any and all actions even remotely close to this. So that is the story of the Tarlac shootings in the Philippines. What are your thoughts? I think just the song, all of it is just a mixture of makes me feel so, I don't know, it's heavy. Please leave it in the comments and please be safe. I will see you guys on Sunday for the mini-sode. Bye.
This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. Jolette, whatever his stupid name is, if he is really unalived, thank God, thank God. We don't need him in society. I don't even need him in jail. We don't need him in jail. Taxpayers don't need to pay for him. He should follow suit. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We don't need you around. Yeah, sorry to the families. And definitely, if there was doubt that he did the unalivements, I would really lay low about passing judgment. But it was all caught on camera, so he couldn't deny it. The president is the most unhinged human being on earth I've ever seen. To talk like that, nothing diplomatic about him, just boom, 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 like that and stuff like that. Definitely, diplomacy doesn't solve anything, but at least it gets you places where you didn't even imagine you'd get to. That is insane. How brash and really not undiplomatic he was. Let me know, was he your favorite president when he was in power? Was he your least favorite president? Is there stuff that Stephanie missed? Is there stuff that you would like to add to it? I would want to know. I love you all so much. Do also like, share, subscribe. Check out our Discord. Join our Discord. Let's create this family outside of YouTube together as one. Love you all so much. I'll catch you in the next one.